Congratulations, you've just found the #1 over 50 health and wellness podcast on the planet. Hello, and welcome to the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show. I'm your host, Kevin English. I'm a healthy aging expert and the founder of the Silver Edge, and I am on a mission to help men and women just like you build lean, strong, healthy, amazing, capable bodies they'd love for the rest of their lives. All right, folks, here we go. Let's start right here. If you are over 50 and you're trying to lose some fat, you probably don't need an entirely new plan. You need to make sure you're actually doing the few things that matter the most. Because a lot of people aren't stuck because they're lazy. They're stuck because they're just missing a few key pieces. And if even 2 or 3 of those pieces are off, fat loss can feel way harder than it should. Now, before we go any further, I need to take a quick time out. Today is Wednesday, April the 8th. So we have open registration for our 21-day Spring Fling Fat Loss. So if you're serious about getting results right now, right, this spring, before summer, I got something for you here. Again, we've just opened registration for our 21-day. We're calling it our Spring Fling Fat Loss Challenge. And this is hands down the fastest, easiest way to take everything I talk about on this podcast and actually put it into action. We've got some simple workouts, some simple nutrition, some real structure, real accountability, some real coaching. So if you've been listening and thinking, yeah, okay, I get it, but I think I need some actual help doing it, or maybe I need some accountability, then this is for you. I want you to do this. Go ahead, hit pause on this show. Grab the link in the show notes and get yourself signed up right now. Registration is open through, I think it's whatever Sunday is. It's April 12th, I think, at midnight. And then we're cutting it off. We're closing it down because this challenge starts Monday, April 13th. So go do that real quick and then come on back here. Because in today's episode, I'm going to give you something just that's incredibly simple, but incredibly powerful. I want to give you a 7-point checklist. These are the things that really need to be in place if you want to lose fat sustainably after 50. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently. And here's the deal. Again, if you're even missing a couple of these things, you might be spinning your wheels. So let's walk through all 7 and help you figure out exactly what might be missing. All right, folks, I want to start with this statement. Fat loss is a checklist, not a mystery. Or at least it should be a checklist and not a mystery. But doesn't it seem like a mystery to you, to a lot of us, especially in this age demographic? And I think that one of the biggest reasons that people feel stuck with fat loss in particular after 50 is because they overcomplicate it, or they think it's too complicated. They think there's some secret, some hidden trick, some arcane missing piece that they just haven't discovered yet. Maybe it's a secret supplement or a secret workout or a secret diet. So they bounce from one diet to another. They bounce from one workout program to another, or maybe from one expert to another. And they're always looking for that one thing that's finally going to make it click. But in my opinion, here's the truth. Fat loss over 50 is not a mystery. It's a checklist. It's just a handful of things that need to be in place. And when they are, your body responds. But when they're not, it doesn't. It's really that simple. Now, let me be clear. Simple doesn't necessarily mean easy, but it does mean clear. So once you understand that this is a checklist, you can stop guessing. You stop saying, okay, what should I try next? And you can start saying, okay, wait, which of these pieces on this checklist am I actually missing? Which ones aren't there? And that's a completely different question. And it puts you back in control. Because fat loss over 50 isn't about doing everything that you could possibly do, but it is about doing the right things consistently enough to send a message to your body to trust what's actually happening and to let go of some of that fat. So instead of overwhelming you with tons more information, I'm going to give you just 7 things that matter the most. So think of this like your quick audit checklist, a way to look at your current approach and immediately spot what might be holding you back. So let's get into it. These are the 7 things that need to be in place if you want fat loss to actually work after 50. Now, notice I'm not saying weight loss, and that's very, very intentional. You OG listeners, I know you're feeling me, right? But when we're over 50, one of the most dangerous things we can do is just lose weight. Just eat less and be sedentary, or eat less and do tons and tons of cardio. That actually is leading to sarcopenia and osteopenia and other things that are not so desirable, right? So I am very intentionally saying fat loss. And when I say fat loss, I'm not talking about rapid fat loss. I don't think you should lose 10 pounds in 10 days. I think that's a horrible, horrible idea for this age demographic. When you're in your 20s or 30s, fantastic. Go for it. You guys got kids in those age demographics and they want to do that. Let them have at it, right? But for us, if we what we want is sustainable fat loss. Not perfectly, not all at once, but we want to set ourselves up with some kind of consistency for long-term success. So here we go. As we go through these, ask yourself, is this in place in my life right now or not? Okay, let's get to it. Here we go. Let's start with number 1. You are strength training consistently. Yeah, look, this is the foundation for over 50 fat loss. And it sounds kind of weird. I didn't start with, hey, eat less or cut out carbs or anything like that, or don't eat until noon. No. We're going to start with strength training consistently. And I don't mean random workouts. I don't mean jumping around in some kind of a crazy class. And I'm not saying just staying active. Nothing wrong with any of those things. That's way better than just, being sedentary on the couch. But I'm talking about real strength training, about 3, maybe 4 times per week. But I think 3 times per week is perfect, with the goal of getting stronger over time. I think, and I say it over and over on this show, every single person over 50 should have a professionally designed, age-appropriate functional strength training program that they follow. One that is strategic in that it is meant to get your body functionally strong. Because muscle is what's going to drive your metabolism. No strength training, you're really not sending a signal to torch fat and to, in this case, build some lean muscle, right? So that's what we want. That's that recomposition or that body composition change. So that's number 1. You got to be strength training consistently. Number 2, you're eating enough protein. So protein is non-negotiable for those of us over 50. This is going to support muscle retention and recovery and appetite control. And it's going to not only muscle retention, but muscle building. It's also anytime we are doing strength training and we're adding lean muscle mass to our body, we are also strengthening our bones, so bone density in there. And look, if your protein is low, everything gets harder. And this is one of the easiest wins for most people. And we've got a really simple rule for you. The goal here is to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight, not whatever your body weight is today, but whatever your ideal body weight is. I think that's a fantastic target for most people. Now, look, if your ideal body weight, if you're a lady and let's say it's 135 pounds and you're currently eating 50 grams of protein today, I don't think you should eat 135 grams of protein tomorrow, to be clear. I think we should have a strategic plan for stepping that up slowly over time, consistently, to get used to that. But that's number 2 on our checklist. You are eating enough protein. All right, number 3 on our checklist for successful fat loss over 50 is you are fueling, not starving. I think this one trips up a lot of us, right? If you are constantly restricting and under eating, your body goes into protection mode. Your metabolism is getting this signal that there's food scarcity, that there's food irregularity. Your energy drops. And look, more importantly, or just as importantly, fat loss slows, because what you're telling your metabolism is that food is scarce, and so it's clinging to these precious fat stores, right? You don't need to eat perfectly, but you do need to eat enough. You need to eat the appropriate amount. You need to fuel your body, not starve your body. Okay, number 4 on our fat list checklist for success here is you got to have a repeatable weekly structure. I know I have beat on this drum over and over in the last few episodes. That's okay. I'm not talking about perfect days. I'm talking about predictable weeks. So your workouts are planned, your meals are consistent. Maybe you've even gotten to the habit of doing some meal prep. So you've got your protein ready, you got some fresh veggies in the fridge. But basically you have a rhythm that you can return to. And just as importantly, you've got this predictable week that fits your current lifestyle. So if you're a crazy, busy, on-the-go person, it fits that kind of a lifestyle. If you're more of a retiree, you got a little bit of extra time and space in your calendar, then your plan fits that. But if your week falls apart every time life gets busy, this might be the missing piece for you. All right, step number 5 on our checklist is you are moving daily. So we have our intentional workouts. We said like 3 times a week of full body workouts is perfect. It could be more. And yes, I suppose you could get away with 2, but I'm talking about daily movement. So this is restorative movement. Think walking, steps, staying active throughout the day, because this is going to help support metabolism, recovery, overall health without draining you. So think about it this way. When we get a minimum of 7,000 steps, and that's what here at the Silver Edge, that's what we like to say is we want you guys to be getting a minimum of 7,000 steps on average every single day. You can think of that as your fat loss secret weapon. Okay, item number 6 on our checklist is you're sleeping and you're managing your stress. Guys, this is your hidden multiplier. This is your hack, basically. Poor sleep and high stress make fat loss significantly harder. For those of you that are trying to add a little lean muscle onto your body, poor sleep and high stress makes muscle building significantly harder. You don't need perfection, but you do need to respect recovery. And then number 7, for success on our fat loss checklist for over 50, you're following a realistic timeline. And look, this might be the most important one. If you expect fast results, you're going to constantly be program hopping and changing your approach and second guessing yourself. And when you keep resetting the process, you never give it time to work. Look, after 50, consistency wins. It's going to beat intensity every single time, always. Full stop, period. So here's the big idea. You don't need to do everything better, chances are. You just need to make sure these 7 things are consistently in place. The key word there is consistently. You got to have all 7 consistently in place, because even if a few of these are missing, that's enough to stall your progress. So here's the reality. Most people aren't missing all 7 of these. I certainly hope some of you that tuned into the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show, I hope you're not missing. I suspect strongly you're not. But most of us are usually doing at least a few of the right things, right? Maybe you're getting some workouts in and you're trying to eat better and you're making an effort to stay active. And look, that matters. But most people that we talk to that are coming into the Silver Edge coaching programs, they're missing 2, 3, sometimes they're missing maybe 4 of these pieces. And I'm here to tell you that's enough, because fat loss doesn't require perfection, but it does require alignment. It requires these 7 things on this checklist to be aligned and to be consistent. And if even a few of these are off, your body's getting at best mixed signals. Some days you're supporting it, other days you are working against it. Hello, some of you weekend saboteurs out there. And when the signals are inconsistent, the results are inconsistent. Or worse, they're non-existent. And this is why people feel stuck. Not because they're doing nothing, but because they're doing a few things well, and then a few things that are quietly, let's say, canceling them out. And here's the tricky part. You can't always see which ones you're missing, because from your perspective, it feels like, I'm putting in the effort. I'm doing all these right things. Why isn't this working? But once you step back and look at it through the lens of this checklist, hopefully it becomes a little clearer. You don't need to overhaul everything. You just need to identify the 2 or 3 things that are out of place and fix those. And when you do that, I'm here to tell you, everything else starts to work better. Because I think most people have never experienced that when all 7 of these things are in place, they don't just work individually, they work synergistically. They compound. We get this compounding interest effect, because they start working together, and that's when everything changes. Because right now, if you're missing a few of these, your efforts are probably working against each other. But when they're all aligned, they start stacking for you. So let's take a look at what that might look like. You're strength training consistently. So your body's got a reason to build and keep muscle, which is your calorie burning best friend. You're eating enough protein and you're fueling properly. So you actually have the energy to train and recover and perform. You've got a repeatable week, so you're not constantly starting over. You're building momentum. You're moving daily. You're doing this restorative movement, so your body stays active without feeling drained and it can recover. You're managing sleep and stress better, so your body feels safe enough to actually let go of fat. And you're following a realistic timeline. You don't expect results in the next 2 weeks. You're not panicking and changing things every couple of weeks. And now, here's what happens when all of that comes together. Your energy is going to improve. Your workout's going to feel better. You're not dragging yourself through them. You're actually progressing and hopefully enjoying them. Cravings start to calm down because your body isn't constantly underfueled and stressed and feeling deprived. Consistency becomes easier because your plan fits your life instead of fights against it. And fat loss, it finally stops feeling like something you have to force, and it starts feeling like something your body is finally willing to do. That's the shift. Not more effort, but better alignment. And once you understand this, once you experience this, I should say, you realize something really important. It was never about doing more. It was always about just getting the right pieces working together. And when they do, progress stops feeling so darn fragile and so out of your reach, and it starts to feel, dare I say, inevitable. All right, let's pause for a second. No judgment, no guilt here. This is just a quick, honest check-in. But as you think about those 7 things we just walked through, how many of them are truly in place for you right now? Not occasionally, not when things are going well, but consistently. Are you strength training in a structured way, or are you just getting in workouts when you can? Are you eating enough protein and kind of guessing and hoping that it's good enough? Are you fueling your body, or are you still trying to get away with eating as little as possible? Are you white-knuckling your way through your diet, I should say? Does your week have a clear structure, or does it just fall apart every time life gets busy? Are you moving daily, or are you only active when you're working out? Are you taking sleep and stress seriously, or are you treating them like afterthoughts? And are you actually giving the process time to work? Let's think in months, okay? Not in weeks. Or are you constantly changing things because you're not seeing fast results? And here's the key question. If you keep doing exactly what you're doing right now for the next, say, 90 days, would it move you closer to your goal, or would it keep you stuck where you are? Now, I don't ask any of these questions to shame anybody. I want you to meet yourself with self-love right where you are right now, but I do want you to be honest with yourself, because once you clearly see what's in place, right, what you're doing well and what's missing, what you can improve upon, you've got your opportunity there, and you're no longer guessing. You're just 1 or 2 adjustments away from moving forward again. Because here's what I think. You're here tuned into a podcast. I'm guessing I'm probably not the only health and wellness podcast you listen to. But here's what I think. I don't think you need more information. I don't think you need another diet. I don't think you need another workout program. I don't think you need another new approach that starts next Monday. I strongly suspect you already know enough. I think the problem isn't knowledge. It's execution of the right things consistently. Again, I told you earlier, this is simple, but it's not easy, right? Because at this point, it's really not about learning more. It's about making sure the basics are actually in place. That checklist we just walked through, that's really the game. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently enough for your body to actually respond. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. They keep searching for something new because it feels easier than tightening up what they already know. But the truth is, the results you want are on the other side of doing these simple things consistently over time. That's it. No secret, no hacks, no magic pill, no magic formula, no super secret diet, workout, or supplement. Just alignment, just consistency. And once you stop chasing more information and start focusing on executing what really matters, those simple basics, everything gets simpler. Everything gets clearer, and everything starts to work the way it's supposed to. So I don't think you need more information. I think you just need to apply what actually works. And if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, okay, yeah, I hear you. I feel you a little bit. I can see it now. I'm probably missing a few of those things. That's exactly where most people are. They're not doing nothing. They're not completely off track. They're just missing, again, just a couple of few pieces and not totally sure how to fix them. So here's the thing. Those 2 or 3 pieces, that's the difference between feeling stuck and finally building momentum. And that's exactly why I offer free clarity calls. This is not a sales pitch. It's a conversation. We're going to look at what you're currently doing, which parts of the checklist are solid and that you're doing well, and which ones are missing or misaligned, and what your next best step should be. Because once you know what to focus on, I'm telling you, everything gets easier. You stop guessing, you stop spinning your wheels, and you're finally moving forward with confidence. And if that sounds helpful to you, you can book your free clarity call using the link in the show notes. You guys can find that in whatever app you're listening to this on, or head over to our website. Because again, I don't think you need more effort. I don't think you need more information. You just need to make sure the right things are in place and you're doing them consistently. Okay, that's our show for today, folks. If you're over 50 and you feel frustrated or stuck and you want a clear plan, book a free clarity call with me. You can find a link to learn more in the show notes for this episode, and you can find that on whatever app you're listening to this on, or head over to silveredgefitness.com/417. As we wrap up our time together today, you can show your support for this show in two important ways. The first is to tell a friend about this podcast and encourage them to give it a listen. The second is for you YouTube folks to click the like and subscribe buttons, and for you podcast folks to please give this podcast a 5-star review on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, and be sure to subscribe and follow so you don't miss any future episodes. I really appreciate you spending your time with me today, and until next time, stay strong.